God f***ing damn it!
I am Batman. I mean, average sniper.
What's up, guys? Average tanker here. Average sniper here. So, one of the things I like to do in Battlefield, that's probably my guiltiest pleasure, is tanking. I love to tank. Okay, so if I'm on foot, you know I'll be sniping. That's pretty much all she wrote. Unless I need to kill a tank. Then I might go assault class for that sweet AT rocket gun, or the dynamite, or the two or three tank grenades they give you. Why is this all on the assault class? Why can't I kill a tank as a scout? I mean, come on. But I wanted to ask you guys today if you think that tanks are overpowered. So I've been tanking a little bit, trying to get a really good tanking gameplay. Okay, that's a total lie. I just tank whenever I can get into the tank. And when I get killed out of the tank, I'll switch to sniper. So now you guys know I'm an average tanker and an average sniper as well. So yes. But anyway, sorry about all that. Anyway, so the tanks in Battlefield 1, I hear a lot of people complaining in the game, and some of my friends, about how the tanks are too powerful. I don't think they're too powerful, and this is my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. But it's just how I feel. So I think that the tanks in Battlefield 1 are definitely not as powerful as the tanks in LAVs and Battlefield 4. In fact, my kill-death ratio in Battlefield 1 is better than it was in Battlefield 4, and I think it's mainly because I don't get killed by tanks and such so much. Now, I know you see me rolling around in this tank, just completely obliterating this infantry, but the truth is, this infantry could easily avoid my tank if they wanted to. In Battlefield 4, it was incredibly hard to get away from a tank. They were super fast in Battlefield 4. While in Battlefield 1, they're super slow. They are incredibly slow. And you have to be fairly accurate with them, you know, to get the one-shot kills on the infantry. You can basically shoot the ground with the tank shells to get the kill, but it has to be really close, otherwise you just get a hit marker. I think they nerfed them a little bit from the beta, because when you pulled the trigger in the beta, it seemed like the entire enemy team would just die. So I don't think the tanks are as powerful as they were in the beta. See, that was a hit marker right there, and it was really close to that guy. And this map is kind of weird. When you're on the hill, you have to aim like really far below them. Something to do with the verticality of the third-person perspective of the tank, I believe. So that's why it looks like I'm aiming really low, but I'm still getting the kills. So the tanks are super slow, and I really like that. You know, it gives the infantry a chance to fight against the tanks. And I'm going to be honest with you, if these guys really worked together to kill my tank, they would be able to. I've had matches where I get into a tank, drive close to an objective or in between two objectives. I think nobody's around, and all of a sudden dynamite and two anti-tank grenades come out of nowhere and just completely obliterate me. So the tanks are actually not that hard to kill. If you can sneak up on one as assault, if you have the right class, you can take the whole thing out, no problem. If you don't have the right class setup, but you have some kind of anti-tank grenades or maybe the AT rocket gun, if you're working together with a squad, you can easily take a tank out. I mean, if you have 5 squad members that are willing to work together and they all spawn on each other somewhere where they can see the tank, and you all pull out the AT rocket gun and shoot the tank at the same time, that's pretty much all she wrote. If that tank's not dead, it's only got a little bit of health left. So I think the tanks are actually pretty easy to kill, but I see a lot of infantry just kind of run around ignoring the tanks, you know, like they're not even there. Why would you ignore a tank? It's going to kill you. Okay, but let me get back to the comparison between the Battlefield 1 tanks and the Battlefield 4 tanks. So the second reason I think the tanks are not as powerful in Battlefield 1 as they were in Battlefield 4, adding to my opinion that they're not overpowered, is that in Battlefield 4 there was thermal optics you could put on a tank. And you could see everything within 200 meters. You could see every enemy. If there's a sniper camping and there's no way you would see him without thermal optics, all of a sudden he's right there. And I'm telling, this thermal optics was so overused. Almost everybody in a tank, including myself in Battlefield 4, was going with the thermal optics. And why wouldn't you? Because everybody else is doing it. It's hard to compete when you don't have it. I mean, there's a few times I got killed when the guy didn't have thermal optics on his tank, but it was rare. It was very rare. No thermal optics in Battlefield 1. That stuff did not exist in the early 1900s, alright? So this is just, you know, tanking on what you can see. And actually, some of these enemies are really hard to see on some of these maps. It's just crazy. Now, these guys are kind of working together at this point in time, you know, trying to kill my tank. I think they're getting pissed off because I'm killing so many of them. And, you know, they just keep running at me. Well, when I get overrun by enemies like this, I'll take as many of them out as I can, and then I'll back off. Those anti-tank grenades right there, they do lots of damage to the tank, so you definitely want to get out of there. You can escape with the tank if you have a team supporting you, but if you see, what I did right there is I escaped with the tank, I went somewhere, repaired it, and then I came back. I did not have a repair guy with me this whole match. There might have been one time where a guy helped me repair. I don't even actually remember that. Actually, I don't think anybody helped me repair. I could be wrong, but yeah, this match was totally insane. And I usually don't do this good in a tank. I mean, I have good games in the tank from time to time where I'll go like 50-0 or something like that. But it usually takes a group effort of repair guys working with me to help keep the tank running. In this gameplay, it was just me by myself. So probably not the best gameplay to use to prove to you guys that the tank is not overpowered. But I don't want you guys to take my opinion and you know, think that I'm totally right, or think, you know, that whatever you think that makes you get pissed off because you don't like my opinion. It's just an opinion, you know. If you guys think the tank is overpowered, I want to hear about it, and I want to hear why. Just like I'm saying in this video why I think the tank is not overpowered, you know. Okay, so far we've compared the tanks in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, and we've said the Battlefield 1 tank moves much slower. So the infantry can basically run away pretty easy, and it does not have the thermal optics, so it can't spot as many enemies out. And here's the, let me move on to reason number 3 why I think the Battlefield 1 tank is not OP. And that is basically because it doesn't have this secondary gunner that can swivel 360 degrees and take out enemies with rockets and incendiaries, machine gun, whatever. A lot of times you get killed by the secondary tank guy. Now the guys that are in the tank with you are forced to look out the windows, kind of like LAV. So if you got a whole bunch of guys attacking your tank from the front, these guys in the tank with you aren't really going to be able to do much about it, you know. And the machine guns that come on the tank are pretty weak. I heard that the flamethrower tank is the best, although I haven't really switched to that. So you also don't have a gunner anymore. You can have a lot more people in your tank than in Battlefield 4, but they all are just facing, there's 2 guys on each side. See the little diagram down there, and then there can be 1 guy in the rear. Alright, so the rear of your tank and the side of your tank should be protected if you have it filled up. I hardly have anybody in the tank with me when I tank because I'm pretty selfish and I like to steal all the kills for myself. So the guys in the tank eventually get tired of me hogging on the kills and just get out and go do something else. I don't care. I'm in it to get the kills. If it's my squad of people that I know, of course I'll give them the kills. But if it's random people in the tank with me, unless they're helping me repair or, you know, helping me somehow, I'll just take as many kills as I can with this thing. Because why wouldn't you? It's a tank. Okay, having said all that, I would love to read some of the comments you guys leave about your tanking experience in Battlefield 1 and why you agree with me or disagree with me. I don't care whether you agree or disagree with me, I just want to know why. And I have to say I am loving the tanks in Battlefield 1. I feel like I hardly ever get killed by them, and when I do get killed by them, it's my own fault for not seeing the tank, or it's my own fault for thinking the tank doesn't see me and running up beside it, or putting myself in, you know, plain line of view. I can't tell you how many times there have been tanks really close to me, and just haven't seen me. You know, if I'm behind a rock and I see a tank coming, or if I'm close to cover, I'll just run to that rock. I can play circles with the tank all day and not get killed in Battlefield 1. I've tried that in Battlefield 4, man. It does not work out. You will get destroyed, alright? Maybe once in a while you get lucky and somehow escape from the tank, but if a tank has seen you in Battlefield 4 and he wants to go after you and your infantry, it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over. Okay, so The self-repair thing, without having to get out of the tank to repair, I think is amazing. And this might actually be an argument that gets used against me, saying that, well, in Battlefield 4 you had to get out of the tank to repair it, or you had to have somebody on the outside to repair it, which made it that much harder. Well, the tanks don't regenerate their health automatically in Battlefield 1. In Battlefield 4, even if you didn't have a repair guy, if somebody was messing you up and you could get cover, your tank would eventually heal. And it wouldn't take that long to heal. It takes longer than if you're infantry, but it wouldn't take that long. In this game, you either have to manually repair it, or you have to wait for the repair meter to fill up so you can push the repair button and get that extra 30 health for your tank or whatever it gives you. So if another tank catches you unaware and has 6 rounds on you and doesn't miss any of them, if he gets the first hit on you, it's pretty much over. You know, you're not going to have time to run those repairs. If you do have one repair saved up, it's not going to save you from his last bullet. I have gotten lucky before though, because some of these shells bounce off the tank. If you don't get a direct hit, if you're one tank shooting at another tank and you don't get a direct hit on them, you can actually see the shell bounce off. So if you're shooting other tanks with your tank and wondering why you're not getting hits, is because you hit the tank at some kind of angle which caused the bullet to deflect instead of doing maximum damage to the tank, you know, going into it and causing damage. It just deflected off of it. And if you play it back in slow motion, it's really cool because you can actually see if you shoot at a tank, you know you hit it but you didn't get a hit marker. You play that back in super slow motion, you can actually see the tank round impacting the tank and then bouncing off and deflecting, ricocheting, whatever, into another direction. It's really cool. That mechanic is really cool. I really like that with the tanks. So all in all, I think the tanks in Battlefield 1 are fine. The guys I'm playing against here, a couple of them were trying to blow my tank up, but the way they were going about it was just, they were just giving me the kills. And then the majority of them were just completely ignoring me like I wasn't even there. So the game ends, I end up with 68 kills and 0 deaths, which is my best tanking game so far. I have seen some people, you know, hit up in the 70s. I've never seen it with 0 deaths before, but I have seen people, you know, drop like 70 kills with a tank. And I still don't think it's overpowered. You know, if you work with your team, you can destroy the tanks. Even a single player can destroy the tank. If you don't have a team to work with and you can't destroy the tank or sneak up on it yourself, just avoid it. They're so easy to avoid. If I could avoid tanks in Battlefield 4, it would have been so much better. Because I didn't care about getting revenge when a tank killed me. I just didn't want to get killed by it again. But it was like the tanks were everywhere. I mean, they could shoot you from so far away, and they could see you so easy with those thermal optics. It just, oh, it ruined it, man. It ruined it for me. I think Battlefield 4 was awesome, but I think the vehicles were just too OP. Well, I am so curious to hear you guys' opinion on this. Please don't hate me if I don't agree. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, just tell me your side of the story. I'd love to read it in the comments. So leave me a like, regardless of whether you agree or not. And don't forget, these are just opinions, and they're not right or wrong. Thanks, guys. Later.